Hello everyone, you're welcome to this channel, and today I'll be showing you how to basically implement a search option using HTML and JavaScript. This is going to be very beginner friendly and it's going to be very basic, so you don't necessarily need a prior knowledge on HTML JavaScript to implement this, because I'll walk you through each of the steps on how you can implement it. So what basically will be happening here is a user can just come in and enter any city or state in the world, and then from the collection or arrays of cities in the world we have on the app, on the website, then that get displayed on the screen for the user. Take for instance, if I search for um, Cairo, which is a city which is in Egypt, so we get to see Cairo there. If I search for Abuja, we get to see Abuja and the country where Abuja is here on the page. And also, there's something I really want you to see now. As the user keep typing in some letters, if the user should just type in just one letter, we get to see so many text coming in, being displayed on the screen. As the user keep typing in more items, the list of items being displayed gets reduced, because they currently don't meet more of the item the user is typing in. Now if I type in more item, if I type in a U, and then that gets also that also helps to screen out so many items. And if I type in a K here, we currently don't have any city or any item matching this pattern. So quickly, I'll go to my IDE right now. I'll be using VS Code as the IDE to write this code. You can make use of any other IDE you have there. You can make use of Atom or any other IDE you're comfortable to work with, or you can even make use of Notepad++ if that is what you have handy. So before working on the HTML part, I will basically want to quickly run through the JavaScript code on how you can implement that, and then do some of the screening, and then get the items, and then we'll move over to the DOM manipulation, and then putting it on the screen for the user to see that on the page. So here I am once again on my IDE, VS Code. So I will create a JavaScript file. I can call it array.js. So this is just some basic explanation on how you can implement that. So let me put this out so you don't get to distract us while we write the code. So yeah, I have my array here, array cities, and then I have here some list of items. So I have here John, Doe, Jane, Jimmy. So I have an array here containing some list of names, John Doe, Jane, and Jimmy. So now what I want to do is, this is, I want to assume this to be the array of cities which we have here, which we are filtering from. So, and then I have another variable here, I'll call it user input. So this will this will receive the input from the user, which is what we are typing in here on the input text from the user. And then, so let me just randomly put in any letter in there. Let me have a J. Good. So now I will then need to create an output array, and then so now this is what we're actually going to be doing. We'll be looping through each of the items in our array here with reference to the user input. Then we will check if any of the item contains or includes what the user is imputing. Then we will push that part, that very item from the array into our output array, and then from there we can pick each and every item from our output array, because that is the screen result from arrays of large collection of items, and then that will be what will be displayed to the user. So we'll be using our for loop here. We'll say for let I equals 0, or we can make use of the enhanced for loop by saying for let I of array of cities, and then what we'll then do, we will say instead of using I, let me use name. So for let names of array of cities, let me call this array of name. So our variable can be very descriptive. Array of names. Good. So we now have for let name of array of names. That's let names. Name is actually representing each items in this very array we have right here. So the next thing we can do, we can say if name dot includes, if it includes what do we want to check? We want to check if it includes the user input. So we can say user input, then open the block here for the execution of the if statement. You can say output dot push the name. Okay, now let me quickly explain what I'm doing right here. So I'm looping through the names array, the array of names at this very moment, using the enhanced for loop by in JavaScript. This is the for of loop. So now I'm saying name of names. Now name here actually represents each items within this array of objects, array of string. Now what we are doing is we are saying if this name here at this point, so on the first iteration, name is actually representing John. On the second iteration, name is Doe. On the third, name is Jane, and it goes on and on like that. So now what we're saying is on the first iteration, if name, which is John on the first iteration, if it includes J, which is what the user is imputing, then we want to push that first item or that name into our output array. And then after the first iteration, then name will change to Doe, and then it will check, do we have J in Doe? We currently don't have Doe, so it will skip that. It will move to the third iteration, and it will continue on and on until we get to the last position. So quickly, if I try to console log what we have within our output array, which will be what we'll display to the user, and let me show that here. So we can see what we have within our output array, and while good. So we currently have John, Jane, and Jimmy in our output array because these are the items that currently have the letter J. Now if I add O, we see two of the items, Jane and Jimmy, get removed from our output array. That is why, you know, if you try to type in some letters here, when you type A, you see so many items being displayed. We type in another letter B, we see the letter gets reduced. If we put a U, the letter gets reduced, and then the number of items being screen gets reduced, on and on like that. So let me add in some couple of items here, and then let me add Joe. Now we see Joe gets included in our array here because Joe is meeting this if conditional check here, which is JO. So that is the basic flow on how that works, and that is how you can basically implement it. Now, quickly, one thing I also want to show you here, right, is that if we have a lower j here, then nothing gets included in our output array. This is because we have a lowercase j here, and then none of the items in the array is meeting this condition because they all have uppercase j in them, and then even if they all have uppercase j in them. Now this is actually the reason why we don't have the item get included in our output array. Or if you want to make your user inputs and the if conditional check to be case insensitive, then we need to convert each of the item before checking your include statement. You need to convert it to either uppercase or to lowercase. For us to do that, we can just go ahead and make use of the dot to lowercase JavaScript string method to convert our item to lowercase, and then for we also will need to convert the user input at the same time to lowercase. So with this case sensitivity check, which we address here, even if the user try to put in a capital J and then a capital O, then the case sensitivity gets ignored, and then any letter meeting this condition we get pushed into our output array, and then we see that also in the output array. Now, even if I should remove this, then we see more of the items get included. If I have a lowercase j there, that gets included as well. And so that is how we get to populate our output array. So this is basically the flow using JavaScript, and where you get the user input, and then you search, you look through your array of items, array of names, or array of city which you'll be looking from, and then any of the item that gets to meet the condition, then you push it into an output array, and then from the output array you can get to display that on the user screen. We can quickly go to the DOM right now and then try to put this on a HTML page, and then we display it on the user screen. So the video is currently running pretty long, so I'll give it a pause here, and then in the next video we'll move straight ahead to the DOM, to the HTML, and implement this. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.